Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I thought I'd do another tutorial video. So I'm going to show you guys how to make some thumbnails using CorelDRAW. Okay, so I have my CorelDRAW open, and the first thing I usually start with is making a block. So you just draw a block and then I change the size over here to 1920 by 1080. Now that is the first thing I always do when I'm making my thumbnail, because that's the size that I want it to be when I throw it into Sony Vegas. Now we're going to go to our web browser, and I'm going to show you guys a few sites that I often use. So the first one is remove background, so that's remove.bg. And it's a great site. It removes the background from your photo. Now it's not perfect. If your hair is standing funny or anything like that, you might find that it cuts it out. So you just need to watch that, or it'll keep that and then you can still kind of see the background behind that fuzzy hair or however your photo might be. So I'm going to pull my photo in. Now I took a photo earlier today. Well, I took two. So I'm just going to pull these in here. And this one. Okay, so I pulled these two photos in here. Now if you look at this photo, for example, because of how my background looks, you can see it's kind of like left a few things because it's mistaken it for my hair, or it's cut out a bit funny because like it's cut that hair away there, so it looks a bit odd. On this one, it's actually a bit better. There's only this little piece that's left over and it's cut out most of my photo properly. So I'm going to use this photo over here. So I'm going to download that, and it's going to go to my downloads. The next thing we want to look at is pngguru.com. So I'm not going to use this one now, but this is where I get a lot of free PNGs. Now you can use this, it's quite nice. Let's say, let's put in unicorn, which I have already done once before. Yes, I have. Search there. Okay, and it's going to pick up some unicorn PNGs. And you can use these PNGs on your drawings. So you just want to drop it on there, put it wherever. I'm not going to download any PNGs, but there are some really nice ones here. I actually quite like that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now the next thing you want to do, and probably the most important, is you want to go and look for a royalty-free background. Now if I go to this side and I go to royalty-free backgrounds, Shutterstock is one of the first ones to come up. So I'm going to go to that page. And you're going to see here there's a whole lot of backgrounds, and we're going to download one. You're going to choose what you like. Now I have a variety of colors that I've used, but I kind of want something that's quite nice. So you're going to have a look and see what kind of backgrounds you like. Abstract, this is just background designs. I really do kind of like this one though. So you can sign up to Shutterstock and use this, or you can go and find another site. So I'm not going to use Shutterstock. I have found a royalty-free image. I can't remember where. I do kind of have a whole lot of images just saved onto my computer. So you're going to want to go and find a royalty-free image. Even if you just go onto images and Google and look for royalty-free images, that's fine. So I'm going to use one that I've already got. And then the next thing I'm going to show you guys is a site called thefont.com. So this site is pretty handy for fonts. Now you might think, well, why would I want to go and download fonts? Well, there's a reason for that. So I've downloaded my main font that I use off of the font. It's pretty easy. You're just going to download it. Now you can't just have it in CorelDRAW, but it's pretty easy. You're going to download it, and it's going to go to your downloads. You just open a file here. So it's going to go to your downloads. You're going to unzip it, and then once you've unzipped it, you're going to take it to your C drive, Windows, well it should be C drive Windows, and then you have a file called fonts, and you're going to pull that font file in here and it's going to save. So whatever you open on your computer, each program should technically have those fonts already, so yours is installed. The font that I use, let me just put a text in here. The font that I use is Incomplete Landlord. Yes, it's a very weird name for a font, but I like this font, and that's what that's the font that I'm going to use. So we're actually going to make the thumbnail for this video right here. So it's going to be, let's see, Coral Draw. Now mine automatically goes caps, which is great. I love that. Coral Draw tutorial. Sorry, Coral Draw thumbnail tutorial for beginners. And if I select all of my text over here, so to make a text, there's a text over here, you can just use that. Then you can go up here and you can change your font. And I'm going to select this and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose to center it because that's what I want. So yeah, that's what we've got. Now, a tip for you as a YouTuber, make sure that your font is really big, because remember, this little thumbnail just shows on a small block on the side, or it shows, I mean, on a phone it's pretty small, and the first thing you want them to see is your font. So also try and make sure you have a font that is easy to read. You don't want to have this fancy font that nobody can read just because it looks pretty, but people can't actually make out what it says, and it's not really going to catch anyone's eye. Like if I see that, I'm just going to move on. And I also try and make my backgrounds and my thumbnail like really colorful, and I try to pull people in. So you need to try and make sure that people want to see that, like that it stands out. See, I've got a background here, so I'm going to go to close that. See, this is all of my thumbnails over here. So I'm going to open this. I've already got most of my stuff saved. So this is the last thumbnail I made. I'm going to delete this stuff and I'm going to keep this. Usually I use my last saved file. So this has already been set to my font size and everything. You guys will set that up. You choose your font size here. Coral Draw tutorial thumbnail. Let's just make it beginner's guide. Okay, and I'm going to use that. Now, this font is pretty big. This one's actually quite big this time around. Let's just call it thumbnail beginner's guide. I think beginner's guide kind of shows that it is a tutorial. And I'm actually going to decrease the size of this font, so I'm going to make it 36. That should still be sufficient size. I'm just going to move it there. Now I am on my quarantine videos at the moment, so I'm just going to name this. You guys don't have to name it whatever you want. Use whichever font you want. If you've downloaded a font, you should be able to find it somewhere in here. They usually come up here, so you should be able to just get it over there. If not, just type in the name. You should know what the name of your font is. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in my PNG. So this is the PNG I decided I'm going to use. I'm going to resize this. And don't forget your block, which must be 1920 by 1080, just so that you know what you're working on. Now of course I've set my page to be 1920 by 1080. This is how it is always set, but when I start a new page it doesn't look like that, so of course I don't have it if I start a new page. To backup layer, I'm gonna move this over here. Now I think I could probably make this a bit bigger. Now, the more you play with your image, you just need to be careful. The more you play with your PNG photo that comes off that site, it starts to get pixelated, so you do need to be careful of that. But I think this is fine. It's pretty small when you see it on screen if you're on YouTube and if you see the thumbnail, so it doesn't really show up as much, so that's fine. Okay, so this is my main setup, and now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go look at my, well, I'm gonna go look for my background. So I've got a few backgrounds that I saved, as I said before. So let's just see what we've got here. Okay, so I want it to stand out, but I don't want it to be too much. I have used a lot of these. I should probably go download some new backgrounds. Let's put this one in here and see what that looks like. If you want to rotate it, you can just rotate it up here 90 degrees. I do that so that it's gushy. I want to make sure that it looks right. It is a little bit pixelated there, and then you're going to order it. So if you right click on the image and you say order, you can send it to the back, and the opposite, if you want to put something in front, you can say order and you can send it to the front. Now as a PNG, you'll see it stands over here. Now when I export this file, I want it to literally just be in this black block over here. So I'm going to click on this image, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to say power clip inside, and I'm going to select over that block. So it's power clipped inside that block that I made earlier on, and that's pretty good. And then my image over here, my PNG, you can see it's kind of standing out here. Now you can't see this part, but when you export it, that piece will be in your exported JPEG or whatever you're using if you're making a PNG or a JPEG. So you want to make sure that you minimize that. So usually what I do is I try to just draw a line on the inside here, select my PNG, right click on it, power clip, and then put it inside that image. Now you've got this line, you just go here to your object properties. When you click on it, you click to here where it says outline, and then you go and you say none. Now that outline won't show, so that's fine. And that is almost about it for my beginner's tutorial. These are really easy thumbnails. I don't work on thumbnails too much because I feel like, yes, you want it to stand out, but you also don't want to spend all your time on a thumbnail. So this is my CorelDRAW thumbnail beginner's guide, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another block just over here because I like to have quite a thick line around as a border, and that is how I do my thumbnail. And there you go, guys. So that is how you make a thumbnail on CorelDRAW. Quick and easy way to do it. I can do another I'll do another CorelDRAW guide, like a guide to how to use CorelDRAW. This is just a thumbnail, so you probably should know how to use CorelDRAW already, or kind of just learn it a little bit to make these. The next thing is if you just save the file. So I'm going to save as, and this is J12 for me. Save, and then you'll just go export your file wherever you're exporting it to, and then make sure your settings are high. You want the highest settings, guys, so please, okay, well mine is on custom at the moment, but make sure that your settings are pretty high, and then say okay. And oh, you know what I made the mistake of? You see, if you say export, just check over here, because mine is still saved as a PNG and I want it to be a JPEG, because you can't put a PNG, for some reason a PNG is too big for you to put on YouTube. So make sure it's a JPEG before you save it. Export, and now you'll see my resolution and my quality and everything is on the highest that it can be because I want it to be a good quality. Say okay, and there you go. That is how you make a thumbnail. Quick, easy, and I hope this video helped you guys out. So please guys, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to my channel. The support means so much to me, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye guys.